Punishing Gray Raven has one of the best soundtracks of any game I have played in a long time, and I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite songs, so let's get into it. So here's my top 5 songs from Punishing Gray Raven, starting with number 5, Evan's Gambit. Evan's Gambit is a song that was made for the Blackrock Shooter collab, and while I didn't play the story for this collab, as I, let's just say, literally just started the game back then, I definitely did hear plenty of this track. After all, it was on the login screen and it was the base menu track when I started the game. And oh boy, I just did not want to swap off. This is incredibly good. The guitar is obviously the standout instrument in this piece. To me, it really gives a sense of being on top of the world and being in control. It just makes me feel powerful when I listen to it. The guitar goes incredibly hard, and don't even get me started on when around halfway through the track, the shift of the song entirely changes. Instead of feeling like I'm at the top of the world, suddenly I feel like I'm in immense danger. And despite the tone of the song completely changing halfway through, it still feels like a massive whole, just one big thing, which it obviously is, but with such a massive tonal shift, you'd expect that these two parts of the song would be very different, but the instrument choice is the same, and it just feels right. Next up on the list for number 4 is going to be Crossing Eternities. Now for this song, I have a lot more to say, because I actually know the character it was written for. Crazy, I know. Crossing Eternities fits almost perfectly with Nanami as a character to me, because almost throughout the entire song, you really get this upbeat feeling. You get this feeling that there's always going to be a way out of the worst of situations. The feeling that, no matter what, there's still a chance, because that's perfectly how Nanami works. Nanami is a character who, despite seeing all the worst of the world, still knows that there's a chance for everything to go right. And despite understanding the odds against her better than anyone else, Nanami still goes for it. If the chance is above 0%, Nanami sees that as a possibility. And you can really hear that in the song. You get this feeling of determination, as well as this feeling of hope. But even so, even the song recognizes that there is going to be a lot of challenges ahead. Because as optimistic as she is, Nanami is still very aware that this world is not made of sunshines and rainbows. She knows damn well how much the Punishing is willing to take from both her and the humans she cherishes. But despite this, she still carries on. There's this one section of the song, around 2 minutes, that really feels like you're in a maze, trying to find an exit that doesn't exist. But when the familiar cheerful tone from the beginning breaks through again, it really feels like you decided, okay, horizontally I might not be able to find an exit, but if I take a hammer and smash through the floor, I can just see things from a different perspective. I can still come out of this situation, and still save the day, because that's just who Nanami is. The third spot on this list will go to In My Memory. This is the song for chapter 29, as well as the character of Teddy. I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, Teddy has always felt incredibly out of place when you realize in which arc of the story her chapter is. You'll look at all of the other characters within the Infinite Loop chapter. You see Ishmael, Lucia, Luna, and Nanami, but then it starts out with Teddy, this character that, outside of chapter 19, we really haven't seen, and we really don't know much about. Being able to deal with Kararina on a daily basis should be enough evidence that Teddy is someone that really cannot be compromised with. The beginning of the song is calm, a sort of magical, if you will. This understands that side of Teddy that we really do not get to see much on the surface. Teddy is obviously one of the heirs to Norman Mining Corp. This was something that was established all the way back even in chapter 19. But Teddy has long since left the Mining Corp. But why did she leave? Because she cared. She knew that Norman Mining Corp was bad news. She knew that there was nothing good to come from staying there. So she tried to get herself, her sister, as well as her brother out of it. But ultimately, only she managed to get out. Around the minute and 30-second mark, we can hear the engineering force member that Teddy is. This track primarily plays while within Gestalt during this chapter, which makes sense. This is Teddy's job. This is what Teddy does now. This is what her life is revolving around. She is a member of the engineering force, and that is now her priority. And while she still has to deal with the echoes of her former life, and while she's still trying to get her sister and brother out, she knows that that's not her priority. Ultimately, she can't save people that don't want to be saved, and thus she dedicates herself to her new life. But ultimately, that can't hide who Teddy is. She still cares, which is why, at some point in the song, it comes back to that magical and whimsical feeling, ultimately transitioning into what is my favorite boss theme in the entire game, being that of Cradle. While Cradle and Teddy do not have many similarities, they do have one big opposition that seems to force them against each other. While Teddy understands that the past is simply the past and only contains lessons to learn from, Cradle seems obsessed with it. And while she does seem to take lessons from the past, she tries to emulate it as well, which is where Cradle is wrong and which is why her and Teddy have to fight. Now we get to second place, which is Under Dimension. Under Dimension is one of my favorite songs in gaming as a whole. I think it's just incredible. The way it divides itself into so many phases and evolves so much is honestly something that needs to be studied. I know it's the norm for PGR, but Under Dimension really feels the best in my opinion. I love how it starts out calm. For the first minute and a half, you're just left alone with this piano and these calm instruments giving a feel of melancholy to the situation, as we face a tragedy, as if there is something that we cannot escape from, until eventually the song builds up and we do escape. Under Dimension as a song feels like a puzzle, which honestly kinda tracks considering the chapter it's from. It feels like we are in an impossible maze, one that you can only solve if you already know the solutions to all the puzzles. But guess what? We don't. But then suddenly, we do. The way Spiral of Chronos as a chapter unfolds perfectly fits with Under Dimension's theme. I love how the instruments used not only reflect Lee's intelligence and his quick thinking, they also reflect how this situation is otherworldly. There are higher powers at play, higher than anything that we've ever seen before. This far surpasses the authority of the Agents and the Ascendants as well as the Hetero creatures, which you can really feel in the instruments. And then the song gets more frantic as the vocals are introduced. It gets faster, introduces new components, while still sticking to the same melody that defined it from the very beginning. It builds and builds and builds unto a climax, and when we get to that climax, we truly feel that the situation we are dealing with was never in our control to begin with. We were always just going to be victims of something greater, which is perfectly conveyed through the final evolution of the song. Now it's time for some honorable mentions. There's just too many songs in the PGR OST that I think are amazing, so I simply could not leave these out. And then finally, for my favorite song within the Punishing Gray Raven soundtrack, we have Moonlit Occultation. This is a song that I didn't really expect to care much about, but the more and more I listened to it, the more I realized that this is perhaps one of the best songs in gaming as a whole. Definitely a contender for my number one of all time. The piano that is consistent throughout the entire song conveys to me a sense of innocence, something that really fits Luna as a character. She became a construct at a younger age than she should have become one, and that innocence has carried her through her entire journey as an Ascendant and as an agent. Her innocence is what led her to cling to her sister, and then her innocence is what led her to cling to the new Lucia after Alpha had become an Ascendant. This sense of innocence has carried Luna wherever she went, but we cannot forget about the hatred that Luna feels, the emotion that has put her into the Ascension Network, and the emotion that keeps her there. Her hatred for humans has been something that's abundantly clear throughout the entire story. She detests them, the way that they betrayed her as well as her sister. But even she could not hate humans forever. After seeing the new Lucia recover all of her memories, Luna realizes that the decision that Alpha made was never destiny. It was never the only solution, never the only choice that Lucia could have made, because we have two examples of two different roads that Lucia could have taken, being Alpha and the Lucia that we know. And all throughout that realization, we have Luna carrying herself and a punishing virus echoing in her head, telling her that hatred is the way, and telling her that without her hatred, she is nothing. But Luna at this point knows better. The song is consistent, always carrying the same elements with it, because ultimately, Luna's battle is not one of realization. It's about maintaining a realization that she's already had. All while everything within her head tells her it's wrong, she knows within her heart that it's right. And yet, despite all this, Luna's fury remains. Luna is not some kind of pacifist now. She just knows where to direct her anger. And this ultimately leads her to a climax where she knows where her fury has to go, while still valuing the innocence within her, as well as the love for humanity that her sister could have had. And those are my 5 favorite songs from the Punishing Gray Raven OST. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. On this channel, I'm going to be uploading a bunch of Punishing Gray Raven content because I really love the game. But that'll be all from me. Peace.